Is there any written testimony on item 5?
The governor.
Just the governor's? I called that one out earlier.
Excuse me, I got a question. I had an email from Mr. Shiroma, and he wanted me to enter this. Should I do it now?
We received it today.
Okay.
We didn't have copies to. We didn't have
Yeah.
time to make it for today's meeting.
So I printed it, and he wanted this to be made
We'll make
part
sure-
of the minutes.
We'll make sure the board
Thank you
receives
very
it.
much.
Okay, there's no item for action on item number 5, so let's move back to the order of the agenda. It's labeled as item number 4, update on the administrative rules process. Director Howard Booth.
Thank you again. As I'm sure all of you are aware, we concluded 6 public hearings on the neighbor islands regarding PLDC's draft administrative rules. We held meetings on August 20th in Hilo. We had approximately about 114 people, of which 36 testified. Could have been more. On all of these, when I give you the numbers, it could have been more people. I mean, simply because some of them probably didn't sign in, but these are just the people that signed in and people that testified. In Kona, on the 21st of August, we had 93 people. On Maui, on August 24th, we had approximately 91 people, which 34 testified. In Molokai, a total of 81, 23 people testified. And in Oahu, we had approximately 200 people, where about 62 people testified here. And in Kauai, on August 31st, we had 92 people, of which 46 testified.
How many on Kona? You didn't say how many?
Oh, I'm sorry, if I didn't say on Kona, but 93, with 36 that testified.
And Lanai?
We didn't go to Lanai.
Cheeky. It's cheeky.
Please proceed, Mr. Howard.
Yes. As I'm sure you've all read in the newspaper, the public testimony was very emotional. Issues such as Hawaiian sovereignty, ceded lands were presented. And while these are important issues to address, it is not within our purview. Also, there were many public concerns about the laws that PLDC is actually exempt from, and there was testimony expressing great concern of abuse and lack of trust. So these are the things that came up during the public hearing. Most of the most of the testimony at the public hearing did not pertain specifically to the draft administrative rules. We have put out additional information at the public hearings and on our website that clearly clarifies exactly the laws that PLDC is not exempt from. And I did go through the list earlier, as it was posted on the board there. So that's the update on the rules. But additional updates on drafting the PLDC public hearing summary report and the rulemaking process. Can I move to that, Mr. Chairman? On item B.
Members, are there any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, questions.
That item is Mr. Guerrero, could you just report it? No. Proceed, Mr. Howard.
Okay. Again, the additional updates on drafting the PLDC public hearing summary report and the rulemaking process. The deadline for submittals was last week Friday, September 14th. And we are currently in process of reviewing all of the written and oral testimony pertaining to the draft administrative rules. And should have the summary report for public hearing done for your review at a minimum of 7 days prior to the next board meeting here. So as I just mentioned, we are in the process of reviewing that and looking at possible changes or additions or deletions to the current draft rules. And that's basically the report for the public hearing, public hearing process that was held in August.
Thank you. Members, any questions of the chief? I have one question, Mr. Arguchi.
Yes.
So can you clarify what was the deadline that you stated earlier?
September 14th. The written.
What was that deadline?
That was a deadline for people, for the public, to submit testimony in regards to the draft rules. So although we went out, yes, written testimony, yes.
And of the of the public testimony at the hearings that pertained to the draft rules,
Yes.
how much of that inventory, what does that make up in terms of all the people you said testified, the feedback that you've gotten this far? Anecdotally, I know if you haven't had a chance to look at it, but what is that?
Percentage-wise?
I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
number, percentage, I mean,
Less than 10%.
Less than 10%.
Less
I
than
would think so.
10%?
Yes.
What was less than 10%?
The testimony in regards to the rules itself, so, yeah. It was overshadowed by other issues, yes, very heavily.
so your inventory that I would expect that you're gonna provide in your summary report, is this expected to be rather lengthy pertaining to the rules, or, I mean, because of that 10%, just my quick rough estimate, that could be about 20 testimonies per se,
Yeah,
around there. Assuming that's 20 different suggestions on the
Right.
rules, or are there,
well, there were a lot of duplications, of course, you know, like, for example, exemptions, et cetera. I mean, there are duplications abound. But as of this point, you know, the comments or testimony that came in, you know, as I say, we are reviewing it, and we want to make a determination as we move through the process. And we've been going through this, you know, for quite a while, since we've had a public hearing. If there's substantial changes to the current draft rules, then obviously we'll come back and ask the board as to us going out again for a public hearing. Or if it's not substantial, then, you know, we'll come back, give the board and the community an opportunity again to review it. There will be another minimum 30-day review for this process. So, you know, if we came, say this is, what is it, September. In October, we came back to the board with the revised draft, and say it was substantial, then we'd ask the board for an approval of the draft rules as amended, and we will have a 30-day period before we can go out to public hearing again. So it'll be a process again. You know, we'll go out again and come back again, and, you know, do the reviews, and then come back to the board for approval. So that's you know, the potential future steps in regards to the rulemaking process.
anybody else? No? I'd like to open up for public testimony on item number 4, for both items that Mr. Haraguchi went over. Randall, call the first testifier.
Mr. Curtis, did you want to testify again
Yes, I did.
on this item?
Henry Curtis, Executive Director, Life Land. I noticed you didn't say how many written testimonies came in.
I have not compiled that number yet.
So it could be 80% of the comments pertain to the rules, because we don't know how many written comments came in, and we don't know how that would shift the weight. Second, I'd like a little parity, if that's okay.
Sure. Anybody have questions for Mr. Curtis? No? Thanks.
Mr.
Next.
Aki, did you want to testify on the
Absolutely. You know,
on the rules?
on the rules. So, Bo Aki, Charles Bo Aki, and yes, you know, that was another thing. I kind of concur with my predecessor. First of all, as to the rules, are there any rules? It seems to me that there's just suggestions, innuendo, intent, guidelines. Are there rules? You know, if there were rules, then I don't think we would have a problem. But there aren't any. And I'd like to also allude to the fact that I have a problem with the commission being unprofessional. You know, if we're going to engage in business, if we're going to engage in commerce, then I would like to have somebody from the state representing me that has expertise. I would like to have a financier there. I would like to have someone who is a developer. I would like to have somebody in the rules that state that these guys are qualified. You know, I don't think being appointed would make you qualified. You know, if I'm not a dentist, but would you let me pull out your tooth? Same difference. You know, I don't have those expertise, and I'm supposed to be lamenting to these rules that's stating that, you know, I'm supposed to trust people that have no expertise, and the entire state is supposed to just take their word for it. So as to the rules, yes, I would like to have the rules to be a little bit more stringent, a little bit more defined, and I would like to know exactly what we're getting ourselves into before it's too late. Just like everything else that happens in the state, it's kind of like after the fact. Oh, we shouldn't be doing this. Oh, shoot, we made a mistake. Oh, boo, boo. You know, 30 and 40 years of this, you know, my entire life, I grew up in Hawaii finding out that it's always after the fact. And that, oh, oops, I'm sorry, and we don't have qualified people. With all of the education that has happened, we have qualified people in this state, and we should use qualified people to be, you know, if we're going to have this, if we can't repeal Act 55 and the PLDC, then at least we should have qualified people behind it. You know, it's reminiscent of, you know, who is doing this, the LUC, right? It seems to me that everything is kind of stacked against the public. And I'm standing up for the public saying, hey, you know, I don't mind being regulated. I don't mind being dictated to what we're going to be doing. But the rules have to comply with everybody else, have to comply with the general public, have to comply with our best interests. So in that venue, that's why I'm here. I'm saying we don't have an objection other than we would like to have it done correctly. Any questions? Excellent. I think we have the same frame of mind then. Aloha.
The strategic plan does not mention the rules. Therefore, if you reject any comments that come in that have nothing to do with the rules, can you rip this up? Thank you.
Kat Brady, and then Shannon Wheeler.
Aloha, Mr. Haraguchi and board members. Kat Brady testifying on behalf of Community Alliance on Prisons. I want to thank the PLDC. You have really brought the community together. I don't know if that was your original intent, but I think the love of the land, the love that the people have for our natural resources was very clear. And I hope that you listen to that. I can't believe that I'm going to say this, but I actually agree with Lerf that it should be a process like the LUC that has a contested case hearing. I have been at thousands of public hearings, and basically you get your 3 minutes, they say thank you, now sit down and shut up. And a contested case hearing is when you really can exchange documents, you really can be part of the process. So I encourage you to go in that direction if you're going to go at all. Thank you.